We'll take a snippet from the speech of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress yesterday while declaring the APC presidential primaries open at the Eagle Square, and just a snippet of what transpired. Take a look.
I cannot overemphasize the importance of this occasion for our party and our nation. You know as much as I do that the fate of our party depends on what we do here in the next 2 days. I urge us to commit to the best practices in party politics by being honest and fair in our dealings, as well as keep our eyes on the ultimate prize, the post-President Muhammadu Buhari presidency in 2023. Since this National Working Committee that I'm privileged to lead assumed office a little over 2 months ago, I have continually harped on the need for our unity. We can do nothing unless we are truly united in thoughts, words, and deeds. Unity is the only glue that can hold our party together. It should go without saying that we cannot go into the general elections next year and expect to remain in Aso Rock without putting our house in order. It does not take rocket science to unite the party. It takes sincerity of purpose, commitment, and determination to sacrifice our individual interests and ambitions to the larger interests of the party in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The First Lady, the APC National Chairman, President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives. The critical task ahead of the Abdullahi Adamullah National Working Committee remains to continue to forge for the unity of purpose among party members and to keep securing needed compromises in the interest of our great party. I enjoin you all to be fair to all and to create a level playing field for all the potential aspirants in the coming crucial party exercise.
Well, there you have it. The focus of the president is choose a candidate that will unify the party, that will be able to confront the challenges that the country is dealing with at the moment. And that has been the central focus of this message.
Even the chairman of the party, Abdullah, he talked about unity. And I think the APC needs unity now more than ever, because whatever happens today is going to determine how the APC goes into the general elections. And already you can see defections here and there.
Mm-hmm. Now, one video went viral yesterday that has to do with the Kogi State governor, an aspirant in that primary election, how he was exchanging pleasantries with others, and then it got to the national chairman, and it appeared to have snubbed the national chairman of the party. That went viral, and people are reading meaning into that. What's your take on that?
Well, I think even by African culture, where it is necessary, you must even greet your real enemy. But these are political enemies. And being on the same party, same platform, I think that it went beyond the normal. When you're talking of, a very young fellow and an older one in terms of generational gap, I think that even when we say respect your elders, we should also add respect even your age mates and the younger ones. So I think it was just out of it. But let's look at this issue of the president saying we must have a candidate that unifies this nation. And that brings to mind what the aspirants from the southeast were saying. Aspirant
Ogbonayonu,
Yes.
aspirant Ken Namani. So look, when we say power should shift to the south, they counted southwest they've produced, south they've produced, northwest they've produced. Now we have the central part. We also have the Igbo extraction. So he felt that justice, equity demands that this ought to have gone to the southeast. But again, you look at the case with the southeast. When PDP had theirs, how many of the Igbos or extraction got votes that you say, yeah, they had people behind them?
You know,
see the
some
way Peter
persons...
Obi also left. I mean, it says something about the southeast. And when they say, look, when APC came on board and there was this movement towards Muslim ticket, he said, look, this thing is going to tear us apart. Religion, you know how sensitive it is in this country. And he brought it again on stage yesterday. I said, look, why don't we begin to think of balancing this country in terms of even religion also? And I hope that that is a very good advice to APC, because we should not just believe that religion is a non-issue. Look at what is happening today. Religion is tearing us apart. If some people feel, yes, we have to feel longing, whether that person performs or not, well, so be it. But I think that we should not just sweep that aspect of justice.
But there's this problem, though. It's a good thing. When I listened to Obunayono and Kenny Namani, I understood where they were coming from. However, some persons have said that the people from that region are not doing enough to get it. For instance, look at Emeka Nwajuba yesterday. He's from that region. That was one opportunity he had to come, take part in that contest and see how it goes. But he did not even show up. And that is what happens in a lot of instances. So how serious are they? And have they demonstrated that seriousness in getting to the #1 seat?
And to add, Mazi Habunwa for the PDP got 0. Meaning that...
And there were delegates from that region in that election.
There were delegates from State Abia. And he was wondering, what went wrong? These were people we came together, we dined together, and we hoped that they were going to do, but suddenly they changed. There's this thing, former governor of Ekiti State, the creator of stomach infrastructure philosophy. People collected money as alleged, and therefore they would just become steering, just sway it to any direction. And so the case of the Igbo too, I think that some of the outbursts and approach to key issues, especially for the youth, when you say IPOP, you are busy attacking government infrastructure, attacking government people who are employed by government. Is it INEC? Is it the police? Is it the military? You're making the place so ungovernable because you said you want to go. Now, if you look at even the map of Igbo Southeast, they are right inside Nigeria. And is this going to be another Lesotho, a country inside South Africa?
Also, before this primaries of the APC, we saw former governor of Abia State, Ojus Okalo, saying that if it is not zoned to the southeast, it should go to northeast. I mean, the election had not come at that time, but he was already campaigning for another region.
Absolutely, and he said east is east. What is applicable to northeast is applicable to southeast because they have not been able to produce. They are fighting insecurity. They have been marginalized. I mean, northwest, even when the president is from northwest, Daura, there are attacks in Daura. There are attacks in Katsina. There are attacks in... tell me the state that is virtually not under attack in that place, outside Jigawa. So, when people begin to say, let's destroy, we can't cut your nose to spite your face. What am I trying to say? You cannot think that if you destroy, it will therefore create sympathy, and therefore they bring in some developments in that place. I think that people would rather see that you've created fears. And when you create fears, I mean, they look at you with suspicion. And I think that it is time that we just go to the round table, look for justice, instead of fighting physically. You can fight for justice via the academics, via conferences, via negotiations, alignments, realignment, cajoling, begging, and ensuring that, look, present superior argument and people will believe in it. But when you take up arms, I mean, it's not it.
Okay, now I want us to talk about certain things going on in the APC. Earlier on, we saw a report from Katsina showing massive defection from the APC to the PDP. That's a major stronghold for the APC, being that that's the state of the president. Also, there's a story here that says Senate leader Yahya Abdullahi dumps APC for the PDP. Are we likely to see the APC we saw in 2015 and 2019 in 2023's general elections?
No, you see, 2015, 2019, at the mention of President Muhammadu Buhari, I mean, even the wheelbarrow pusher will show you his own voter's card. He was ready. But today, look at the commotion, political commotion taking place in Kano State. Kano State that will always produce almost the voting number of the Niger Delta area. It's in crisis. Kwankwaso is pushing this way, APC pushing this way, PDP is there. So, of course, APC will not have it easy. Well, we go back to Katsina where indeed you could see how many people have cross-carpeted. They say, look, we have left APC for PDP, the opposition. All is not well. And when you look at the reasons, they said, APC does not say thank you to those who indeed have been holding forth for that party. There is no reward system. So whatever they're looking for, I mean, people should begin to reward some people. When you have warning signals, you can see them clearly, and you neglect them. It's always never the best. A good political strategist does not underrate opposition. Don't just say, no, that guy is just a mere councillor. You'll be shocked what some of them can do because they belong to the grassroots. After all, in Nigeria, there are some people classified as Abuja politicians. They are at the city here, at the federal level, but when you go to the state, they are not on ground. Not to talk of going to their local government, their wards, and even political voting units. They are not on ground there. And so it's not going to be easy, bearing in mind that many of these camps, okay, Osinbajo is in the race. So to speak. And you look at his own political godfather, he's also in the race. So all is not too well yet. And Rocha Sokorocha is still bearing some grudges. That, look, as a member, founding member of APC, he knew the challenges he had from APGA, how he was able to pull out and to join. And of course, they ensured APC got some followership in the southeastern part of the country. Today, he's saying he's under trial. He calls it persecution, of which to him, he was rich before he came to limelight.
So do you see the APC mending fences before the general elections? Do you think they'll be able to bring all aggrieved members to the table? Don't forget that the former secretary, John Akpan-Odoi, also defected about 3-4 days ago. In fact, he has moved to the NNPP.
Yeah, you see, if they were able to do it, they should also be mindful of the way they describe fellow party members. They call them nomadic politicians. I mean, when did becoming a nomad, how does it become a misnomer when it comes to a misnomer, when it comes to life generally? So when you now liken politicians who change from this to that, that could be so offensive to some people. And of course, words are really more painful than sometimes a slap. And when you describe people who indeed were foundation members of APC, like some people are saying, the portion of President Buhari is not represented in the structure right now. The CPC elements of that APC, that is not represented anywhere. And so it is still a thing that APC should look at seriously.
All right. Now, one other feature of the primaries yesterday during the speeches of various aspirants was the or war killings that, was a moment of silence was observed, for the victims, of that attack. And, that didn't happen until when Tunde Bakari came onto the podium. Many of them came and gave their speeches and left without even mentioning anything like that until when he came. And then the people after him also follow suit, to kind of show empathy for, and sensitivity to the killings that is happening in the country and all of that. So in terms of focusing on the current issues that we are dealing with in the country that needs urgent attention, how much of focus do you think has been given from the speeches that we had?
In terms of focus, in terms of selling candidates, in terms of marketing programs, in terms of ideology, I don't see it. It's just this.
Although some would say 2 minutes is not enough to
exactly.
actually say, but
2 minutes is not enough, but it takes just 1 second for someone to pull a trigger. So 2 minutes is quite a lot of time for you to say something. You know what sound bites are or footages on television when you have 2 minutes to say one very critical thing that will make a nation. But having said so, you see, when the St. Francis was attacked, see the way someone has parted with how much? Close to 100, one of the aspirants, 100 million to take care of that. And that tells you, I mean, if education had been taken care of that way, well, people are lamenting. I mean, people, loved ones have gone, and people, the living are mourning. Yes, there is the need to have this kind of sympathy. But in terms of substance in politics, when people are campaigning, we don't see how people will say, we need to bring in IPOB, we need to bring in Miyati Allah, we need to bring in whichever group, either in Southern Kaduna, in Benue, we need to bring Sunday Bohon. Can we come to the round table? This is what I am going to do. We'll bring them to the round table. And that was why one of the candidates, Tunde Bakari, is saying, people do some promises, even though they sound weak, they don't even tell you how they're going to overcome this. If a candidate says security is number one, and I think it should be, because anything a nation wants to achieve, there has to be security. Where are your investors? Tell me the investor who will come in under this kind of a situation. So when a politician mounts the rostrum and says, look, I'm going to ensure IPOP will bring you on board. We're going to bring all the dissenting voices, areas, come to the negotiation table. How am I going to do it? Let me see. Are there traditional rulers? Are there stakeholders? Are there people who indeed can speak with this? Are there contact persons? So that there's going to be a kind of a round table, a talk, if you like, you call it security summit, to ensure that we come out of this. The hatred is too much. Where are these religious leaders? Let us, if we say we are so prayerful, I mean, so be it.
Okay.
Like Yaya, sorry, just to make this point, Yaya Bello of Kogi State said, since Kogi State was created, there was a mosque in Government House. There hasn't been a chapel. That he has done it to ensure that there is a unity of purpose. People of different faith begin to come together. So if that is an approach to issue, if we are going to use religion to unite instead of dividing us, so be it. Let us get people of substance. Let us have the sultans of this world. Let us, every archbishop. In fact, at the point, Yewande Abimbola, who used to be advisor on traditional religion, because I saw that when some people have said, look, Christians, Muslims are losing, blah, blah.
Okay.
Well, Shoyinka came in to say, you've forgotten that there are also free thinkers that must also come on board to provide solutions.
Okay, there's one question I really need to ask you. We've been talking about affirmative action. We need women up there and all of that. But the lone presidential aspirant for the APC stepped down yesterday. What does that say? Are the women their own enemies? What's going on?
Not really that they are their own enemies, because if you watch, she's so she gauged the mood of the place there. Some people say, oh,
Well, she might have been the game changer, though.
yes, but if you check before she stepped down, she announced her stepping down. She said, well, I can see the mood where I'm almost being booed, but it also means that it is not yet time for us. And at this point...
But should anyone be vying and be waiting to see the mood in the venue of whatever is happening? Like, I mean, if you say you are easily swayed because of the mood in the place, then ab initio, perhaps you were never intending to even run for that office, because that office is so sensitive that if you are coming on board from day one, you should have planned out, you should have it all planned out as to what you are going to do, and you shouldn't be swayed by it just because someone is cheering or someone is stepping down for another person, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, but you see, when you have to monitor the heartbeat, the situation, the environment, you have to also know comments. You also have to...
well, you must know that all the comments will not be in your favor, even before throwing your hat in the ring. Right?
Exactly, but when they are talking too bad, right from that place, it was like they were booing her, if you listen to it very well. It was like they were booing her. And of course, her appearance on stage just showed somebody who was there for being sick and, you know, some roles in a drama. Some people, you describe them as wakapas, I mean, filling the gap. I'm sorry for that. It's like she was really not set for that big event. To govern Nigeria, I think she ought to have started maybe from a councillor, local government chairman,
now,
and move ahead.
But, you know, again, that brings me to another issue of concern, is whether or not some of these aspirants were just holding spot for some. Because all right, so you have some of these people come and there's they do not have any presentation to make. They just come on the podium and just talk and talk.
Like
and
somebody
talk
who kept on talking about the president and giving the
without
president's
direction
biography.
and the rest of them. So when such a person comes on board, you know, you just, you know, have no option than to conclude that, oh, perhaps this person was really never serious about this in the first place. And perhaps it's just a stooge for someone.
Yes, Elia, you see, when Bala of Bauchi State didn't get his ticket, he went back and there was a recontest for him to win, to be candidate again for the next election. When Tamboa didn't get, it was the same thing. Now let us copy-paste in what is happening. Don't be surprised, some of these candidates were the ones who also gave some money to some people. Please come out, campaign vigorously. Make sure you win the hearts and minds of voters. In the end, it's an agreement. This is your court. On stage, step down for me. On stage, that person does same. On stage, that person does same. If not, tell me how 100 million naira, you just leave it and just disappear. I hereby withdraw my candidacy. Look at Ken Nnamani, as if there was nothing at stake. Just said, I hereby step down. Not for so person, not for so reason.
Yes, that also brings me to the question.
Just for
all of these people have paid 100 million and they have stepped down. I know they didn't step down for nothing. All of these people, for instance, 7 people stepped down for one person. Isn't that going to put a demand on this one person if he clinches the ticket and he eventually becomes the president? Because, I mean, people are going to go to that person and say, I bought from her 100 million and I stepped down for you, and so you need to reward me.
There are those who even said that they are just going to, they are just going to align with whoever emerges.
Whoever emerges. Exactly. There's one person that said so.
And honestly, when you look at the person of Fayemi, he even brought something with Dimeji Bankole. You know, Yoruba and tradition, Dobale kind of a thing. I said, respect for elders. Someone said, look, if a young person wants to live like an elder, then you must respect the elder. And for that reason, I bow down. I withdraw my candidacy, my aspiration in favor of the oldest politician among us, Asiwaju. And of course, like they will say, RC, Waju, we have moved forward, we are moving forward. So to them, if they step down, of course, payback time is coming. And when is payback time? If APC wins, and of course, we're talking of sharing of portfolios.
And then
wouldn't
that cause danger to governance? Because when you're paying back the people that have helped to bring you in, and then governance begins to suffer, right?
Of course, it will suffer, except when you have people of conscience who indeed will feel, look, I've come to serve. But how many people actually come to serve under capitalism? Capitalism, you take care of yourself first, because most of the people that go in, it's I first, then the rest thereafter. So and that is it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much.